Hello and welcome to the Mo WIFF 3 Up 3 Down podcast. I'm your host Cam Smith, and I am joined again by this week's Player of the Week, presented by Auto Spy. Get yourself a car wash, Rory Rank. How you doing?
Heck yeah, baby. I'm doing great, man. And I need one. My cars are all dirty, so I am ready to go.
Hopefully, I can pull one out in the next couple weeks and get one of myself. But yeah, cool award. Let's start there. Player of the Week. Was
Yeah.
this your first one ever?
First one ever, man.
I could have
It's a
swore you
big
had
one.
one last year.
Never did. Jordan every time would get it over me, and rightfully so, but he put up better stats and had better games right about the time I decided to have a good one. So
Absolutely. It was awesome to see, man. I did vote for you, but so did a lot of other guys. Gus did put up a good fight.
yep.
But ultimately, we've seen pitching been dominated in the Player of the Week awards, but finally we get just a pure hitter. Cool to see from my end and a lot of other people's ends as well. So congrats to you on being, I'm sure there's been other ones, but one of the few hitter only Player of the Week. So a great award. And especially on a week where uh, your teammate even threw a perfect game. So back to back
Yeah.
weeks, a guy with a perfect game does not get a Player of the Week award. How about that?
That's something. And like I said, Jordan tried to steal another one from me there because he threw the perfect game and he had a great night at the plate as well. And at the end of the day, Jordan is a great player, and I don't want to take anything away from him. But I did hit two home runs, and I had zero up to that point. So I think the pressure was on me, and
Yeah,
I feel like I rose to the occasion, and I was glad to get it done.
yeah, and well, one of my arguments against Jordan though, he even though I think he had maybe four hits as well, I think both of you did. Uh, Only one RBI when you guys put up a lot of runs in that series. 10 runs in that one game, and what was it? Three? No, that's not you. Four in the other, or I guess three.
Yeah,
And because of that home run derby. So, uh,
yeah,
one out of the 13 RBIs. Not. Yeah, let's give it to somebody else. Show some love around the league. So cool to see.
well,
Cool to get another
yeah,
name out there.
much
Uh,
appreciated.
yeah, absolutely. It's always fun. So, tonight we are going to start off by talking with our trades. We've had quite a few since we've last talked. First ever like in the season trade, so we'll get on that. Then we're going to talk about what the playoffs look like so far, and then we're going to round it out with the remainder of the regular season, as we only have 4 weeks left. Uh, wow, this year has flown by. No rainouts. This is crazy.
No,
Um,
crazy.
but I love it. It's going quick, and we're getting to the good stuff. So
Yep,
let's start it off here, Rory. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's talk about it.
All right, here we go. First up, we got the trades. All right, Rory.
Okay.
Big couple of weeks here. So it's been about 2 weeks now since the first trade was announced. Uh, there was four. There was three in that one week, and then we had one that got announced tonight, actually. Uh,
Yep.
Finally, all four official. Let's start with the first one that was posted. Greg Thornton and a Mojo first round pick to the Empire, and the Empire send Colin Wilkerson to the Mojo. Did you see this coming? Were you surprised, especially because this was really our first in season trade, player by player?
Yeah, correct. I did not see this coming. I had heard a few rumblings about the Empire shopping certain people. We have a father-son duo, and it's a little different to see a father trade away his own son.
Yeah,
You don't plan on that. You don't see that coming necessarily, but I think Tom's doing what he thinks best for the Empire. Greg Thornton is a guy that continues to be someone who I don't know. I think he's underrated. I mean, he hit a bomb against us last week that changed the game. We were up 2-0, and Thornton logged on to tie the game, and he's continued to do that every year I've played with him, and even the year
mm-hmm.
before. So he's not a player that is just a throw off player. He's a guy that can change the game with a swing. He's proven it. But I was a little surprised with to see the Mojo give up a first round, knowing that Colin most likely will probably sign back with his dad. So it turns into a rental contract essentially.
Yeah, trying to go all in this year, win that championship this year. Right now they're the number one seed. They're looking really good, which we'll get into later. But acquiring Colin, do you see this as a good fit? Do you think? What are your thoughts on Colin into that lineup? Where does he fit? Because they have the biggest roster in Mo WIFF, and I mean you saw it last week. He started in that first game, but he didn't get to start in the second game. Is this
Right.
going to be good for their pitching? Where does he fit into that pitching rotation? Because you have Jackson, Sam, Gus when he's there.
Yeah.
It's very jumbled. What do you kind of see Colin fitting into this Mojo team?
I honestly, I kind of battled with this. My first instinct, I mean, I know this podcast will go out to all the players, but my first instinct is Tom's trying to get Colin a championship. I mean, to me, that is the thing that makes the most sense. Hey, go be a part of a winning team. Go get some championship potential experience, maybe win one, and then see where you're at. That way you can say, hey, I've got one. It's not lost on me that they may rely on Colin in the playoffs. We've seen things happen last year where you need to get a pitcher in there. You don't necessarily need him to start the next game or play the next game. So saving innings, making moves, it's just kind of to be determined to see how Doug plays it.
Yeah, it's definitely got the options. To me, the biggest thing here, I mean, it's nothing against Colin. He is a rookie. It is shown at times. He's opened a lot of eyes at times too. He's had a good bat here and there. Depending on the game, but he has performed well at the plate. And he's gotten a lot better on the mound. He's going to learn from Sam, from Gus, from all these guys with a lot of experience. So that's
Right.
a great thing to have for Colin, especially going forward. Another big thing, though, for me is, man, if I'm looking at it from an outside perspective, losing Greg on the Mojo, I think is tough. He, like you said, he's a guy that always comes in with a clutch hit when you need it. When you look at the top 5 career RBI leaders, Greg is in the top 5, obviously including
Right.
playoffs. But I mean, that's when he shines. Last year in the playoffs, Greg hit a bomb off of me that almost sent them to the second round.
Right.
We were down 2-0 in the game, and part of that was because of Greg. And like you said, he hit that home run off of you guys. I mean, he hits the ball, especially in this game where a lot of times it's hard. It's a little easier now to because with walk, you get a couple walks and singles can get guys in. But most of our games, especially the big playoff games, the big matchups, you see a lot of games won by home runs. It's somebody hitting a home run in a 1-0 game, especially in the playoffs. And Greg is the guy that can do that. I definitely get it from both sides. Greg is a good fit with Mike Flores. Build something there. Maybe going forward to next year, who knows? But I mean, I love Greg. I love Colin. It's never easy and never fun going from the first place team to the last. But Greg has shown his value, and he's going to continue to do that. And whether he stays in the Empire next year or goes somewhere else, like he's definitely a guy that has shown and proved himself in this league through and through. So.
Yeah, correct. And I think the Mojo are at risk for really losing this trade. I mean, you give up a first round, you give up Greg Thornton, who's a team guy, fan favorite, if you will. There's some risk there, but
Yeah.
Colin comes in and hits a bomb or is able to shut a game down with his pitching. Doug at the end of the day will not regret it.
Yeah, I mean, and Colin's got tremendous upside. So especially now playing with Sam and all those guys. So definitely could be scary going forward. A team. I mean, that team is just top to bottom good.
Well,
They've been that way all year.
I think we need to watch, and if Colin starts calling Doug Dad, then we need to make sure.
There we go.
There might be some tension at the end of the year. There might be a an arms race to see who's gonna provide more for Colin in free agency.
Yeah, I love that. That's hilarious. All right, let's jump to our second trade that was announced. It was another trade involving the Empire, this time with your team, the Archers. Tony Saggio goes to the Empires, and former Empire captain, Empire founder Josh Rogers, former
Yeah.
commissioner, now goes to the Archers. How big was that trade for you guys? Are you gonna miss Tony? What's the vibe there in the Archers clubhouse?
Well, yeah. Number one, we are going to miss Tony. There's no doubt about it. We missed Tony even last week when we played against Tony. He's still a fun guy to play with. The guy, he cracks you up, and he's one of those wiffle ball guys that he's not afraid to talk trash, and he makes
I love
makes
it.
the game fun. And he's starting to back it up. But I will say this: we traded Tony. When Josh told me that was going to happen. I'm sorry, when Jordan told me it was going to happen. Excuse me. Jordan told me we were going to trade Tony for Josh. I thought Tony would be playing with his friend Colin. Turns out, that didn't happen like I thought it would. But we're happy to have Josh Rogers too. And Josh obviously has come in right off the bat last week and made a big contribution to our team, both offensively, defensively. He even had a great heads up play, call and tag. So, we're happy to have him too. The first round to be determined. We were going to probably lose Tony. Maybe, maybe not. But if we did, we have a core group of guys. So that first round we can play with it. But to be seen what's available next year. But Josh is when he's pitching, he's a first round talent. So I'm not too worried about that.
Yeah, and that's true, and it'll be interesting to see, what Josh decides to do because he'll, as of right now, he's a free agent going into next year, and also so is Saggio. So two guys that you don't know where they could go. What I love about this trade is Josh fits into your guys' lineup perfectly. You guys have been hitting very well lately. I believe you guys are the top hitting team
We are
in average.
batting 280.
There you go. Top team in the league in hitting, and you add especially now that you added Josh, his average has gone down a little bit, but still you, Josh, and Jordan, I believe, are like the top three in the league, which is insane to have all
Correct.
three of those guys there. And then, yeah, you said it. The key defensive plays that he's already provided will be huge in the playoffs, and he's got that great wiffle ball mind that we have seen for the past couple of years. So besides Josh playing now again with Jordan like they did in year one, which I think will be very beneficial, they already have that chemistry, so they've already played together. I think it's a perfect fit for Josh and for you guys. But also on the other side, I think this is a great opportunity for Tony Saggio. So
Yeah.
with you guys, especially when now that Ethan Bailey has now been here the past couple weeks, Tony Saggio wasn't going to get many more opportunities on the mound, and now he's getting those opportunities with the Empire, and now he can fine tune some stuff as a rookie and finish out the season really starting to pick things up. And we saw that in that series against the Bombers. He was throwing very, very well.
Yeah.
I mean, he was throwing 80. I saw a few times that hit 80 on the gun, and being a little bit wild, but a little bit more effective. We could not piece stuff together. It wasn't until the end when he actually had to come out and after a couple of walks, and then we ended up scoring 2 runs. But he pitched very well. He's getting better every time he's out, and he's lasting a little bit longer every time he's out. So he's fine tuning that arm a little bit. Now he just gets to work on stuff, and then bam, now he's a free agent. Whether he stays with the Empire, which I think a lot of us think is probably likely, but at the same time, maybe some other guys will show interest as well with how well he is starting to play. And he's had some good defensive plays. He's had some bad ones, but you get better as time goes on, and the more you get used to it, the easier it is, and sometimes. And I just think it's a good fit all around for both teams. I thought that was a solid trade, probably one of my favorite trades so far.
Yeah, I was really disappointed actually that I didn't get to face Tony. I thought he would pitch that second game, and when Tom,
He wanted
I hit a
to.
home run off Tom. I thought it's only a matter of time we're going to get to Tony, and I, would love to have faced him, but then Tom dialed it in and kind of shut us down for a little bit. So, unfortunately, we didn't get to face Tony. But I seen the way he pitched against you, and he looked exponentially better than when he pitched for us. And I assume the next time he pitches, it will be even better. So if he keeps working at it, gets his conditioning up, finds the script, finds his ball, Tony's somebody to watch out for.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic too, with the Empire making all these trades, a lot of guys questioned their pitching and what they were kind of doing. Trading away Colin, trading away Tommy, which we'll get to in a second. But they lose all these pitchers, and a lot of guys are like, oh, who's going to pitch? And a lot of people thought it was going to be just a cakewalk. And we did. Obviously the first game with you guys, 10-0, got a little bit out of hand, but other than that, the Empire pitching has been pretty solid. Tom has looked very well. So now he's getting more opportunities on the mound. Uh, minus the 5-run first inning against us, which actually should have ended with 0 runs. Tony made the error, and then we ended up scoring 5 runs, all with 2 outs. And then we scored 1 run in the second inning, and that was it.
Yeah.
Tom
Yeah.
was shut down after that. Only gave up 2 to you guys, and then the 1 in extra innings. But even 1 in extra innings with bases loaded.
Right.
Tom pitching very, very well. And then Tony Saggio, obviously too. Like I said, getting these guys opportunities has been really great for that Empire team. So, you love to see it. Definitely not as bad as everyone thought it was going to be. So.
No, not with them pitching like that.
Yeah, leads into that third trade. Jake Wilson from the Bombers goes to the Empire for Tommy Dwyer. And I know a lot of people were kind of questionable about this one. There is that stipulation if Tommy does resign, then the Bombers will give a draft pick to the Empire. Jake Wilson was a guy who I love. He is one of our great characters in this league. He's super happy, super fun to be around. Really, really loved his energy and just having him. And he performed. I told him at the start of the season, hey, I don't know how much playing time you're going to get because, I have a core group of guys. And I have his buddy Justin as my first round draft pick. And I told him, I was like, I really don't know how much playing time you're going to get, but I think you deserve to be in the league. So I want to keep you here, keep you in my back pocket, and then I'll get you in when I can. And he was totally supportive, totally understanding with that. And I got him in a lot more than I planned on. And I was like, and I kept telling him, I'm like, you're making it hard on me because like I don't want to hit 6, but I don't really feel like I can take you out at this point. And he's a guy he wanted to get more pitching in, which it's hard when you carry a roster, especially a pitching rotation with me, Nick Bone, and Justin. It's hard to get those other guys in who want to pitch. And Tom was like, hey, I'm looking for guys that can throw, need innings, and I really like Jake's vibe. Like he just seems like a really fun and outgoing guy, and he is. And everyone, I think a lot of people kind of know there was a little bit of things going on with Tommy and in the Empire, which I don't think it was bad. Some people I think got kind of the wrong impression of it. But overall, I think from Tommy's perspective is just getting on a team where he can find kind of a new life and kind of bring out the more fun side of things. So from my perspective, I'm like, I got to take this trade. Hopefully I can groom him in and keep him here because he's such a great player. The stats may not show it as much, but he's a good kid, and I really enjoy having him here. Whether he stays at the Bombers or not, I'm not sure. We'll get to that point, I haven't talked to anybody about on my team about, what it looks like next year. I know I got Jake Welnick and Nick Bone next year, and so far that's it. So,
Contractually,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
We'll talk, once the season kind of winds down here. So,
yeah.
uh, but
Well,
what did you think about this trade?
this one, like you said, I think you nailed it. I mean, I haven't really talked to you about it, but I kind of agree with your mindset here. The only thing is I saw that it's conditional first round pick in 25. So I thought, what do you know for next year that you're not giving up your 24 pick? But that
I
was the
know
first thing.
nothing about it. My thing was the Empire already have every draft pick in the first round next year.
They don't
Mine
need
will
them
do
all.
nothing. They don't
Yeah,
need them all. Exactly.
yeah,
It's not, especially right now. I got a big roster as it is. Who knows if I'm even going to draft somebody next year? It just depends.
right.
One, it depends on where I'm picking. You know, um,
Correct. Yes.
if we lose in the first round, we'll maybe have a top 3 or 4 pick, or if we win the championship, we'll have the last pick. And at that point,
Yeah,
it's kind of, you know, who's in
it
the
is.
draft, who's available, and
Correct.
so
No,
a lot of
I
situations.
agree. I mean, in 25 seems like such a far time away, but then, and when that time comes, we'll see how it is and what our league has become, and if it's grown, hopefully, which it has already. That could be very valuable. It could be interesting. Tommy Dwyer, though, is probably a guy that I haven't talked to Tommy as much as I have the other guys, so I don't really know Tommy and his mindset, but I see from Tommy a guy I would want to play with. He's good at pitching. It seems like he has great at bats. May chase a little bit, but he still has a great swing. So when he connects, it's gonna go. But for your team, that was a great addition. But then last week, playing against Jake, I like that guy a lot too. I mean, I think
Yeah,
that Jake is a good
he hit
guy to have on
very,
your team.
very well.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
yeah,
mean, and he's been hitting well.
yeah.
He's hit some really good pitching in our
Hit some
game that
big home
we
runs for you guys.
yeah, and the game
Yeah.
we lost against the Empire. We had 2 hits in that game, and he had both of them off Collins.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely a guy that's got good talent. So like I don't, you know, people can say what they want, but the guy can hit, and he's a great character, a great team player to have on your team.
Yes.
So, uh, you know, I think that trade was a little more fair than people really think. And Tommy's a little shy. I don't think he'll deny that.
Yeah.
And I think maybe a change of scenery, getting around Paul, getting around Jake, and the Bombers, and just kind of how loose we kind of are. I think they
Sure.
open them up and just bring out even more potential in them, hopefully. So
Correct. And he's going to make your team deeper for the playoffs. I mean, I know that's why you did it. You're seeing a guy that can definitely throw strikes and throws a good, hard drop ball. I've seen that. So with you, Hall, Bone, and now Dwyer, once again, there's not an easy break in that Bombers rotation.
yeah, it also makes it very difficult on the lineup because I don't like hitting 6, but I don't want to sit somebody out either.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's going to be tough decisions.
yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, let's talk about our last trade. Uh, just announced today.
Hot off the press.
Yeah. Uh, first overall pick, Caleb Schweiger will go to the Melonheads from the Pilots. Pilots will get the Melonhead second round pick in this coming year and potentially a first round pick in the following year, which will most likely end in that. There was a couple, there's three different options. If one of the three happen, then they will get that pick. And it looks like one of those three will probably happen. It'll just be which one actually does.
Okay.
I
Are
don't
those
remember
terms?
them off the top of my head.
Okay.
I have
Gotcha.
them on. I have them. I have a formal letter from the Melonheads and Pilots that it states, and there's a lot of reading. It's very professional. Credit to Jason there. I may have to have him post that out on like the Melonheads TikTok or something.
The Melonheads have professional letterhead. We've heard it numerous times.
Oh,
They
it's very
take their
professional.
paperwork very seriously.
I really really love it. I really enjoy it. It's fun. When he sent that to me, I immediately just laughed and I said, "This is awesome. This is what it's about. That's definitely got to get out there. We got to post that somewhere." Uh, were you shocked, and what were your kind of thoughts about this trade?
Yeah, shocked. I mean, that's fair assessment of my reaction. You have here's the problem. You have a guy that I said at the draft, you build your whole team around. If that guy wants to be flown in on a helicopter like Antonio Brown, you
Yeah,
you provide that.
yeah,
And Caleb Schweigert is potentially a 10-year generational Mo Wiff talent because he's the first to 100 strikeouts, right, in his rookie
this
year.
year, yeah, yeah.
This
He's
year,
not
but
gonna
but
he's not gonna touch Sam's record, but
no, but as in our league
yeah,
this year, even
correct,
with
yeah,
the depth we have, he has that. He's throwing 90. So, this is a guy that if you're a Pilots fan, you say, "Uh-oh, are we rebuilding again?" And that's
yeah.
where I'm worried about. I'm worried about the Pilots what is available next year because that was a guy that was available this year.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of questions about him re-signing there. So kind of, maybe that had a lot to do with it. I don't know a whole lot of the details, behind Adams' rent. I haven't really talked to him about it. But they want to go through and get draft picks, and this does seem, as of right now, like a rental. Uh, maybe Caleb will be, testing free agency, wherever he wants to go, uh, is on him. Uh, and it'll be interesting. But Pilots getting some picks, some that could be key. Uh, I think they may have an option where they get him back, at the end of the season where they can negotiate with him before everyone else gets a chance to. So maybe that could be huge, and he could come back to the Pilots next year, and
Yeah.
they can continue to build around him now with some more picks. Uh, you never know, or they can deal him for more picks. Who knows? There's a lot of possibilities that could go on there, but definitely one
Yeah.
that I didn't see coming, but I'm not surprised by it. I think it definitely now gives the Melonheads a big boost on in their pitching staff. Well, yeah, their pitching staff, but their pitching staff was good. Jason and Spencer have both been pitching very, very well this year. Even Jason, a week or two
Yeah.
ago, he was throwing harder than he's ever thrown and throwing very,
Turning it
very
up.
well. Yeah, absolutely. So, but this just bolsters that rotation. Get, I mean, their lineup is already pretty good. So now what do you do with that lineup? Uh, but still a good guy to have. And now our playoffs are looking very, very talented and very, very uh, full in talent on teams in the playoffs. So it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, you better grab your popcorn for the playoffs. You have every ace in this league is now playing in the playoffs,
Yeah, it's
most
gonna be
likely.
fun. And like, all right, we're speaking of it. Let's do it. All right, topic number 2. Next up, we got the playoff teams that have clinched so far. All
All
right,
right.
so talking about all these teams, this is so far 5 of the 6 spots have been clinched. We'll name those teams here in a second, but let's start by how our playoffs will actually work this year because we did change it a little bit.
Okay.
So it is no longer Feather Shark versus UCC STL division winner of each bracket plays in the championship. Last year we had a instance where uh, there was 2 teams. Well, there was one team from each side that didn't make it, and the Mambas, who had a better record than the Empire, missed the playoffs, and the Empire made the playoffs. Um, you know, if you have a league of a bunch of teams like Major League Baseball, that's gonna happen. It's and it makes more sense when you have like, okay, it goes by division or whatever, and there's wild cards in play. But for us, with only 8 teams, we have that smaller sample, especially we're only playing 17 games. It's not
Correct.
necessarily fair if a team has a better record and doesn't make the playoffs. Like for our league, it just doesn't make sense.
Right.
So
I
we went
agree with
away
that.
from that. Yeah. So we went away from that. We changed that, and it's now each division winner. So whoever wins the Feather Shark division, whoever wins the UCC STL division, will automatically get the number 1 and number 2 seeds. Whatever team has the better record will have the number 1 overall seed. Both of those teams will have a bye in the first round.
Okay.
The second place team in each division will automatically make the playoffs. The last 2 spots remaining, so the 5th and 6th seed, or 5th and 6th spots will be solely wild card spots. So it could
Okay.
be 2 teams from the Feather Shark division and 0 from the UCC STL, or it could be the opposite way.
Solely based on points, correct? Not wins and
Based
losses.
on points, correct. So
Okay.
it goes points, and then head to head, and then there's a couple other tiebreakers that we'll get into if we need to.
Okay.
So makes it a little more fair. And of course, this year it looks like it's going to be. I mean, it's shaping up to be. It would have been perfect last year with 2 divisions.
Right.
With 1 team from each division not making it. That's what it looks like. But this is a great way, and it really structures the playoffs well, because what we'll do is the division winners will be the 1 and 2 seed, and then 3 through 6 doesn't matter where you finish in your division. It'll all be seeded 3, 4, 5, and 6 based off your points and the tiebreakers, and then the 3 seed will play the 6 seed, and the 4 seed will play the 5 seed.
Okay.
The winner, or the lowest seed remaining after that first round, will play the 1 seed. So there's no actual bracket that says,
Correct.
if you win, you play this team. It could change. If the 3 seed beats the 6 seed, then the 3 seed is going to play the 2 seed. But if the 6 seed wins, they're going to play the 1 seed. So it could change.
Which is
Makes
what
it
the
a little more
NFL
fair.
does in their playoffs.
Yes. Yep. Makes it a little bit more fair, balanced, and rewards those teams that get the number 1 and 2 seeds, and even the 3 and 4 seeds if you win. So harder road for those bottom tier teams, but rewards teams if you do well all season long. So it's going to be an exciting playoff matchup. Every matchup is going to be great. We had a great playoffs last year. We are very excited this year. Our homestand is presented by Homestand. They are our wonderful strike zone makers, if that's what you want to call them. That clear strike zone looks great now that I added the new pool noodle instead of duct tape.
Yeah. Cleaner look.
Yeah. So let's get into these teams. As of right now, we have the Mojo, who have officially clinched the Feather Shark division. They're the division champion, right? That's the right
Done
word?
deal. Sewed it up. Yep. It's congrats to them. They've had a great season. Only had 2 losses. We cannot catch them.
Their second divisional title in 3 years.
Yeah, impressive. Impressive.
Yeah, so no matter what, they have a first round bye. The Thunderbirds can still catch them for the number 1 overall seed, but hey, first round bye, pretty good in my book.
Yeah, you want that. That's a big deal. You avoid you get rest, number 1, and you avoid any type of pitching matchup nightmare. Perhaps your pitcher's not there. Perhaps something's going on. So, that's a good thing. It's definitely something you want to have.
Yeah, and like you said, these 1 and 2 seeds, it's crucial to have the bye, because you could run into a team here with a top tier ace that you don't want to face in round 1. And it's a lot harder to win and beat an ace in round 1 and then have to play another ace in round 2. It's a lot easier if you just got to play one of them instead of both.
Exactly.
So the Mojo have a huge leg up on everybody right now, is already having 1 less game against no matter who you face is going to be a good team. So
Correct.
Good on the Mojo. Congratulations to them on their second divisional title in 3 years. Pretty
Absolutely.
good. All right. Let's go to the number 2 team that clinched this spot. Surprise, surprise. It's the Thunderbirds, and they are right there. Right now, they lead the UCC STL division. They have a 6-point lead over the Mambas and an 8-point lead over the Bombers.
Yes.
So they have not clinched that 2 seed yet, or the 1 seed. So they haven't clinched the division yet because technically the Mambas can still stop them.
Correct.
The Bombers could too. Highly unlikely with the matchups remaining, which we'll get to. But the Thunderbirds team in a really good position. I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that they've been there.
No, not at all. I mean, we had them ranked pretty high. We knew that they were capable of this, and again, they only have 2 losses as well. So, they've not fallen short of expectations. Put it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we talked a lot about them over the past couple episodes and all season. They've been I feel like they've just been a little quiet lately. Maybe it's just because they haven't been playing so much, but we'll see them this week, and I'm excited I get to face them. So I'm not. I mean, I'm excited, but that's a tough schedule going down the end, but which I like, but we'll get to. And then so let's go to these other teams too. Those are the top 2 teams right now, and then we had last week we had 3 teams all clinch in after one series, and and none of you had played a game.
Correct.
So,
yes.
And then you guys ended up playing a game that night, but the Archers, the Mambas, and the Melonheads all clinched a playoff spot. That will actually be announced as this comes out today. So
all right,
you heard it here first if you haven't known already. How good does it feel to have that spot secured for the Archers?
Feels great, man. We knew that going into the game, just because of the previous series. But I'm not gonna lie. I thought that would be our only hurdle is making the playoffs. I know what we can do in the playoffs, but making the playoffs, you just don't know how your season's gonna go. We had an unknown pitcher as our second pitcher, and there for a minute, we fought hard, but it wasn't guaranteed. And then all of a sudden, Ethan Bailey shows up, and we feel a lot more confident, and we've been hot ever since.
You guys are on a 4-game win streak. He's played in 4 games. So
that's correct.
Since he's shown up, you guys haven't lost. You're riding the win streak, and he's really just solidified that number 2 spot as your pitcher. Just giving you a guy that can get in there, throw strikes, throw well, has a different a number of different pitches that he can mix in.
Oh yeah,
and he's shown it with the bat as well. The guy's been hitting the ball. He's been hitting home runs. Like, this guy is a huge pickup in a right time for the Archers. And like I said in our preseason podcast when we were giving our predictions, I said the hard part will be you guys getting into playoffs. I think you will, and I think that's all you need because you got Jordan Smith, who, as of right now, is who knows, he might be leading that MVP charge. But when you got a guy like Jordan Smith and the lineup that you guys have, that's really been huge, and that's scary for everybody.
Real quick, Cam, you got Jordan Smith, hit streak going hard. I mean, that guy unstoppable. But you got to face Jordan, then you got to face me. I'm not going to strike out a lot, and then you got to face now Josh Rogers and Ethan Bailey behind me, and then Brian Hunter. So we went from the easy pitch past this. Don't look. I think there was a tweet about us not hitting good pitching. Hey, you know what? I think we've proven that wrong at this point. We haven't faced the hardest pitching all the time, but we've beat Caleb. We beat, guys, Melonheads. We've hit good pitching. We don't hit it always for a lot of runs, but we will get you.
Yeah, and yeah, credit to Brian Hunter and James Chaney both really picking it up at the bottom of that lineup as well. Timely
Yeah,
hits by them, a couple
100%.
home runs by those guys. James Chaney wasn't on that graphic, but did have a home run last week. So,
Yes, you did. Yep.
he's been outstanding as well. So, through it, top to bottom, our team's pretty good. Obviously, we got the Mambas in there as well. They've been one of the scarier teams this year. That lineup is deep. That lineup is very, very good. They've shown and I think that's one of the biggest things is they have faced probably better pitching than anyone so far. And this week they're getting the Melonheads, who just acquired
Yep.
Caleb. So do they get to see Caleb a second time before playoffs? That's huge. They've
Huge.
shown they can hit everybody now because they've seen it. So it'll be interesting to see what the Melonheads do pitching wise. Because do you want, now that all these teams have a spot, do you really want to focus on your seeding, or do you want to focus kind of on maybe I don't want to show my cards and get these guys at bats against
Right.
Caleb all game or Spencer all game or Jason all game? Maybe you mix it up. Who knows what they kind of do there.
Yeah.
But that Mambas team, very good. Their pitching is very good. They were one of the only playoff teams besides them and the Thunderbirds so far, the only two teams not to make any moves before the playoffs. So, that could be an interesting factor. It could be, they still have that good chemistry and maybe other guys falter, who knows? But I think they trust in what they got going on over there and what they've been doing with their bats. And James Dutton has been an animal on the mound. And Brian O'Rear he just continues to show why he's one of the top players in the league as well. So,
yep, agreed.
yeah, and then obviously, the Melonheads too. The addition of Caleb makes them a dangerous team in the playoffs. It's a three-headed monster right there. So, all five of these teams so far that have clinched a playoff spot have a top-tier pitcher, at least one of them, and that's going to make an exciting postseason.
Yeah.
So, one spot left. It's either the Bombers or the Pilots, and we will see, and we'll talk about that here in our last segment. So we'll start with that now. Our last segment of the night is the remainder of the regular season. So we'll start with that. We got two teams fighting for the last playoff spot. Obviously, now that the Pilots have traded away Caleb, it's going to be a lot harder for them. Each team has actually, I lied. The Pilots have 3 games left, and the Bombers have 5. The Bombers' magic number is 1.
Correct.
But if you look at that schedule, it's not an easy one. The Bombers' remaining schedule: 2 this week against the Thunderbirds, 2 next week against the Melonheads, and then 1 the final week against the Thunderbirds again. So 5 very, very tough games. It's very possible we lose them all. I wouldn't say likely. That's just me. But it is a tough schedule. And the Pilots have 2 against the Empire and 1 against the Melonheads. And I could see it if, let's see here, they would have the first game. If the Bombers lose their next 4 games and the Pilots win 2, I could 100% see the Melonhead saying, "Hey, we already got a playoff spot locked up.
Correct.
We're throwing this game. We're letting the Pilots win because we don't want the Bombers."
Yeah,
I could see that happening, and obviously we would still have to play later on that night, but it would be interesting to see.
It's the Cam Smith factor. We don't want to see you in the playoffs. Nobody does. So to know that you have that schedule remaining, I feel like up to this point you've channeled your best Aaron Rodgers impersonation with relax, right? I mean, it's relax, and we agree. Look, you're gonna get there, and here you are, 1 win away, and yet the schedule looks kind of tough. I mean, it looks like something that you don't want to necessarily see. You'd like to see a little easier game in there, but you don't have one necessarily. So time to go out and get it.
What I love about this schedule, though, especially as the captain of the Bombers, is our playoffs are just now starting, and
Mm-hmm.
this gives us a really good opportunity to get in playoff form, see playoff pitching, and get ready for the playoffs. This gets our bats ready. I have 100% confidence in myself and my team, especially with the way my team has been playing, uh, that we're going to get at least one of these wins. Uh, and That's all we need. Get us in, and
Yep.
we're dangerous. Whether we want to, rest up and mix in arms, that's to be known. I don't know. I don't know the plan. We're
Sure.
taking it one
Don't
game at
know.
a time. We got to win the next game.
That's
Uh,
right.
but facing the Thunderbirds, no matter who they throw out, whether it's Andrew, Tony, Jay Rich, or even John Wilmbrink, we're gonna see a good pitcher in that series in all three of those games. So that's good for our bats. Facing the
Correct.
Melonheads, we're gonna get one of their three good pitchers, I'm assuming, or even Jimmy Stout, who's a good pitcher as well.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see good pitching there. Our bats are gonna be ready. We're not gonna get any slouch pitch, which not really many teams have. So
No.
I'm excited. This gives us kind of a leg up here getting into the playoffs, and like we said, like you guys in Jordan, you get a guy in the playoffs who's that good, that's all you need. And
That's all you need.
we've done it in the past. We've won the past two championships, and it hasn't all been me. It's been Paul Pugh. It's been Nick Bone. It's been
Yes.
Jake Welnick. Jake Welnick is huge in the playoffs.
Yep.
So, this year I think is going to be a lot more challenging. But I'm very excited and very much looking forward to seeing how that ends up. So
Yeah.
let's run through the rest of the schedule here real quick. So this week we have, because I want to talk about some matchups, because I think that's one of the biggest things that we have going for us as a league the remainder of the season.
Okay.
This week we have two huge matchups. Like I said earlier, we have the Bombers and the Thunderbirds in a huge series, which really has a lot of playoff implications on seeding as well, because the Thunderbirds want that seed.
Yes.
The Bombers could technically still get that number two or
Yes.
that division title. But even before that series, we do have the Mambas and the Melonheads, and what's going to be a must-watch series, especially with the way that they have been
Oh yeah.
going at each other in the group chat this week. It's been awesome. How fun has that been
Oh
to
yeah.
watch?
Yeah. It's been a good time. I'm not good at making memes, but I enjoy watching them. And I can tell the tensions are building. And it's going to be a good matchup. So definitely want to tune in for that one, no doubt.
I want to see that matchup in the playoffs too. That would be a lot of fun.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
so
absolutely.
this could be a little preview, but that'll be a good 6 and 7 o'clock game. It's going to be a hot one this week, but that'll be a great one to watch. Two great teams battling it out, and obviously, both teams trying to better their playoff seeding. The Mambas could still get that; they want that first round bye too. So that
Yes.
could be huge because the Melonheads can't get that first round bye, but all three of the other
No.
teams in the UCCS division can. So, all right, and then next Thursday, so July 6th, we started off with an amazing series here, and what could be a playoff preview as well. The Thunderbirds versus the Archers.
Yeah.
That'll be very exciting. And then we have the Melonheads and the Bombers, which I'm sure there will be a lot of the same meme battles in that game. I mean, I don't make very many, or really none at all. But I'm sure we'll get a few thrown our way. Paul will try to answer back with some weird memes that people will either laugh at him or laugh at
Yes.
them. Who knows?
He's
But I
he's
love
a
Paul.
most improved memer though. He's going for most improved memer.
Paul's
Character of
been
the
one of
year
my
award possibly.
Paul yeah, I definitely want to throw his name out there when we do talk about that for character of the year, because he really has been one of the most fun people to watch in the league, even when he's not playing, and he just shows up. He's been a great character for our league for sure. So Thunderbirds, Archers gonna be a great series, and then the Bombers and Melonheads. And then July 13th, we have the Empire and the Pilots. And this could be a big series because this series could determine the #1 overall pick next year.
Yeah.
So it might seem like, oh, two bottom teams in the league with the worst records, but a lot on the line in that game. So, you don't necessarily want to lose games, especially you don't want to lose games on purpose. No one wants to do that. No one, I don't think anyone's going to try to do that. But that is a huge series as well. And then we have the Mojo and the Mambas. That'll be a really good series. Obviously, the Mojo already have that bye wrapped up, and this will be a day before we leave to go to the national tournament. So, Sam's not going to be pitching. Jackson's not going to be pitching. Gus isn't going to be pitching. Brett may throw, even though Brett's going to the tournament with us. So that'll be interesting. Colin, that's, going to be a for sure guy to go to there. So that'll be huge. Does he go 1? Does he go 2? Does Brett get a start? How long does Brett go? So still be a really good series there, though. Mambas could be fighting for that bye as well. So a good matchup there. And then obviously our last week, every team will be in action to end the season. It'll be a lot of fun. Pilots, Melonheads, Mambas versus the Empire, Bombers versus the Thunderbirds, and the Archers versus the Mojo to close out the season. I think we have a lot of really, really good matchups, and we're going to have a lot of really, really good and fun wiffle ball the rest of the way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Real quick, I want to go back to week 14 and 15. You have the Thunderbirds, Bombers, Thunderbirds, like you said. If you don't win those 2 games and then you have the Melonheads, there's going to be memes created on that one. So stay tuned if you're a meme fan, especially if it's looking like the door slowly begins to close on the Bombers.
And they're going to do everything they can to knock us out.
Yeah, and I'm going to be bringing my whole family to the Thunderbirds Archers matchup. So, we're going to get to be playing my 2 buddies there, and hopefully they both pitch. So I'm ready.
Love that.
I've been had that week circled for a while.
Yeah, love that. They could be in a position too where it doesn't matter who throws in that game for them. So yeah, call them out, get them in there. I want to see Tony pitch as much as he can. I want him to face us. I want him to face you guys. Tony has never lost a regular season game. So it's interesting to see if he'll get some spots out there. I want to face him. I want to be the one to do it. He talked trash to me last year. He got the better of me in our regular season game. So I want to get back at him. I want him on the mound. We got 3 games against them. Give me at least one of them. Give me one.
That's right. You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So far, it's tough to say otherwise for him on the regular season.
Exactly. Absolutely. All right, Roy, I know you got some regular season individual stuff coming at me. Let's hear it. Let's get it to the people.
Yeah, I just got a couple things I'd want to end the show with here. We got a couple watches, things that I think everybody should be paying attention to as the season winds down. Some teams have 5, some teams have 3 games left. But again, you go back to our last podcast, and I put the league on notice. My boy Jordan Smith, Triple Crown watch,
crazy,
and it's happening. It's live before your eyes, guys. And he is tied with Sam Skibby for 5 home runs for the season. So again, be paying attention to that because Sam, him and Sam both, 5 is not even close to their season total. So that speaks to our pitching. But we want to see somebody get into that 10 range. But one thing I wanted to talk about also is we have a golden hands watch, Cam. Between these 2 guys right here, me and you.
Us 2. I wouldn't even look at. I'm looking at other stats. I love that. Let's go.
Well, I'm throwing it out there. You have me by 2. You have 19. I have 17. Now here's the problem. Okay, Tony Saggio, we trade him away. It explodes last week for 11 putouts in our series, and he's in front of us with 23. But I think he has an error.
He is
okay. So we have that also. But yeah, I mean it's I wanted that award, and I knew that I had a chance at it, and so may the best man win. And it may not even be us. It may be somebody completely different. But we're on watch.
I have one question for you regarding me and you. Do you have a double play?
I don't, and you have me on that too. I know.
That
With the old
helps me a
chicken wing
lot.
arm, I've been selling
Yeah.
myself out. So unfortunately, I don't.
One other guy to watch, and maybe we'll talk about this uh, rule and how we want to award whether we, because we've talked about doing like a what Skibby does, and have an infield gold hands and an outfield gold hands, and then like a platinum hands winner.
Okay.
So adopt kind of um our our big brother leagues rule and how they
Yeah.
do their awards. But another guy to keep in mind for that, whatever that ultimate gold or platinum hands award will be, is Adam North. He doesn't have the amount of putouts, but
Oh
uh,
yeah. Huge
robbing
plays.
quite a few
Oh,
home runs will definitely put you on the list. Uh, the only thing that might hurt him is the fact that he's 8 foot tall and he hasn't had to jump for a few of them. Might
just
hurt him a
reach up.
little bit, but nonetheless, he's still robbing home runs. So
Perfect.
that's a pretty good feat.
Perfect defensive positioning. He doesn't even move left or
Absolutely.
right.
No, they're hit right at him. He's played them perfectly. That goes into it as well.
Yeah,
Like that is,
absolutely.
knowing who's hitting and knowing where their tendencies are. And good on Adam North. That's a very, very well placed team. So uh, I do want to mention too. Uh, so you said, Sam and uh, Jordan are tied in home runs. Jordan has a 3 RBI lead over myself, Nick Bone, and Brett Spencer. Each of us have 10. So that could be a close race as well.
Yes.
And yeah, batting average, he's just going to run away with it. The only other player with a higher average is Ethan Bailey, but he's only played in 4 games. So he's probably not going to qualify for that,
Probably
depending
not.
on what we put it at. But I don't think so. But yeah, 426, and you're at 348. So he's pretty much average, locked up, and home runs he's tied, and RBIs he's 3 ahead. And I'm gonna blame his lead on the wind because I hit a grand slam that would have been out any other day besides week 1. I'm still mad about it
Yes.
because no one robbed it. Sam Skibby didn't rob it. The wind robbed it. Oh, I hate it.
Brought it back. Brought it back. I seen it live, first hand account.
Yeah.
It was nasty.
But awesome for Jordan. That is cool. It would be really, really cool to see somebody win Triple Crown, even though I don't want it to be Jordan, and he'll win
Yeah.
MVP back-to-back years. What's new?
Ugh. Yeah, but real quick with the Jordan Smith Idol Hour here, we have he's only 3 Ks away, 3 strikeouts away from 100 on the season, which was a
Yep.
feat just accomplished, like we said, by Caleb. So obviously, watch out for that. And one other one I want to bring up here, Cam, you're 23 strikeouts away from a career 500 if we include the
Hey,
playoffs, and that's a watch.
hey. You said
500,
500. Wow.
500. You're at 477 career, including playoffs.
Including playoffs. You said I need how many? 20 what? 23?
23.
23. I think I can do that.
I think it's
I can do that.
possible.
I think I can do that before the season starts. I'll have to keep track, but I plan on getting my arm in tune for the playoffs. So
Yeah.
hopefully I can make that happen. I think that'd be cool.
It's just 2 games for you, or 1.5 games.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Not gonna push it, but I love that. That is awesome. I'm not even aware that I've only been checking on like season stats for this year, so maybe I need to go look at career stats as well. But cool. I appreciate you looking out
Yeah,
for me.
man.
That'll be fun to keep an
No
eye on
problem.
for sure. So speaking of that though, and strikeouts, and like you said, Jordan Smith only 3 away. The next closest is Andrew Nichols at 74. So it could be pretty tough to see how many guys get to 100 strikeouts. It might only be 2, maybe 3.
Right.
Wow,
Right.
and that's impressive. I mean, I think Sam had like 180 the first year, which isn't. We did play 3 more games, and we had a 2-strike count, so like things were a lot different back then. But interesting to see on that. on that strikeout feat, but very impressive by Caleb this
Yeah.
year to as a rookie to lead in
Yeah.
strikeouts. So especially with
You know, you're
Jordan having more innings pitched.
correct. You know, your maximum is 150 with the league rules. So to see somebody
Yeah,
get 100, it's right there. You know, it's right there
not
at the top performances that it can exist.
yeah, not bad at all. Um, any other things to look at for the remainder of the season? I know we talked about gold hands a little bit. Um, I think we have a little bit of a race, a closer race than maybe we ever have before in our Cy Wiffle Award. I think every year it's been pretty dominant, pretty unanimous. Year
Yeah.
one, obviously, with myself, I was the national pitcher of the year, so I don't think there was much uh, argument there. Jordan dominated last year, and I don't think there was any argument from anyone there. But this year, I think it's kind of wide open right now. I think Jackson leads right now,
Yeah.
but I don't think Jackson touches a ball on the mound the rest of the year.
Well, and I'm glad you brought it up because that was my final stat, right? So my final stat is that both Sam Skibby, who
Mm-hmm.
quietly has put together a great season. I know he brought it up in his own broadcast last week, and I had to go back and check the stats because I didn't even realize it. You know, Sam and Jackson have only given up one run this season each, with the advantage to Jackson, who's pitched 7 more innings. So in the event that Stamp steps on the mound, and I agree with you, Crosley there may not be a reason to pitch Crosley much. Sam really could bring that ERA a little closer, and then we have something to talk about there.
So they also have 3 games left, and Sam will not pitch in 2 of them.
Okay, well
So
that's
he could
good to
only
know.
get he'll only get one more shot as
Okay,
well. So in you know that'll be the interesting part because yeah, he's not going to have the amount of innings as right now he's 12th in innings pitched with 16. So his max will be 21, which right now would only put him ninth.
yeah,
So
yeah,
Sam probably out with that.
probably right. But
He'll get a national relief or closure of the year award vote now because he has 2 saves.
right
So
on,
I'll
yeah,
throw him up for a nomination for closure of the year. Um,
yeah.
but
But
Jackson
Jackson,
obviously
yeah,
he might end the season with 23, which right now is 7th, and there's a lot of guys ahead of him that if we look at quantity and quality, if they're close and they have a lot more innings than Jackson, that makes it a big difference. And one guy that I look at, well, there's really 2 that I look at. Number 1 is Andrew Nichols, who has
oh
had
yeah,
a very dominant
great
season.
season.
He's got a third in ERA with 0.7. I mean, anything under 1 is really good, especially this league. And Jordan Smith 0.76, so not far behind him. So Jordan
No,
and
he's right there.
Andrew are right there with Jackson. If they can keep up what they've been doing, and they have games left to pitch, Jordan Smith leads in 39 innings right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So if he keeps doing that and he keeps dominating on the mound, he has a really good case. Andrew, if he beats, he's got, they have 3 against the Bombers. I don't remember who their other 2 are against, but they're against you guys, the Archers. So I mean, so really we could see a
Yeah,
Jordan Andrew matchup here late in the season to really, hey, who wants to win Cy Wiffle here? And
yeah,
it could easily be one of those 2 guys for sure.
yeah. When you factor all those things in, it's going to be an interesting race for sure.
Yeah, I think this is the closest race we will ever have, at least from these first 3 years. And I don't think anyone would be surprised. Jackson could very well still get votes and could still very well win. It'll just be interesting to see on how guys vote on it and how everyone looks at it. But it's going to be a fun race to the end of that award. MVP, obviously is led by Jordan right now.
Yeah.
Is there anyone you could see making a case to match him for MVP this year? Anyone on a lookout off the top of your head that you can think of?
I don't think, I mean, it's bias coming through here, but I don't think anybody does more for their team than Jordan Smith does for the Archers. That's my own personal belief, but it's also statistically backed.
A little bit. I think the one thing that kind of hurts him is the fact that, uh, I think people sit down and look at, who you guys have played and the pitches. Hopefully,
Sure.
I heard Sam Skibby talking about writing that article again about strength of pitcher's face or whatever. But the fact that all of you guys have, top, your Archers are 1, 2, 3, and 4 right now, and in average. Obviously, Ethan being up there is one of those. But the top
Yeah.
3 for sure. So that may hurt a little bit, but
No, it does.
Still got
Yeah.
he's still got the stats. So, like I said, I
Yeah.
think he's the clear number 1 right now. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to see if anyone can really, contest and dethrone him right now. So that'd be my vote, but it'll be
Yeah.
fun to see those awards that all get posted out, after the season. We will have an award show this year, so that'll be a lot of fun. But it's going to be very fun and exciting into a regular season. I'm looking forward to it. So, any
Yeah,
last
me
thoughts
too,
on
man.
the regular season?
It's gonna be something to watch. But here's the thing: the regular season, I'm looking forward to it. But those playoffs, it's
They're gonna be
must
fun.
see TV, man. Must
They
see
are going to be
TV.
fun. Absolutely, I can't wait. Some good things planned for the playoffs, and I'm really looking forward to our championship video again.
Oh
We'll
yeah.
get into that later, but we'll learn from last year and make it even better. So, like I said, very excited. If you haven't, start getting those teams together. August 12th, we got the Mo WIFF Midwest Classic. Going to be a really fun tournament. We're getting a lot of interest, not only from guys here. We've had a couple teams already sign up. We have another couple teams that have, I know that are going to sign up. They just haven't signed up yet. They got their teams, but they're finalizing a couple things. But we've got some guys coming from out of town.
Oh yeah.
From all across the country. It's kind of looking like, hopefully at least, but it'll be a good time and get more experience and get to meet a lot of guys. So it'll just be a fun day. So August 12th, make sure you have it off. Make sure you get out there and come play in our tournament. So everybody in our league,
Yes.
hopefully you guys can all be there. You get to play with a different group of guys. It's
Oh yeah.
you don't have to play just the guys that you're drafted to. Play with your friends. Play with guys that
Yep.
that got you into the league.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So
Play
Very
with
fun.
people that might be interested in Mo WIFF season.
absolutely get them here. Let's do
Get
it.
'em here.
Get everybody signed up.
Yeah.
That way we can have another great rookie draft class next year, like we did this past year. So
Yeah, if you know some Caleb's or some Collins hiding out watching our YouTube videos, bring them out.
yeah, get them over here. It'll be fun. So other than that, I got nothing. I'm good.
It's all.
Rory?
Yep. Hey man, it's
All
fun.
right. Absolutely. We'll be back on Thursday. I guess you guys will see our videos on Friday and Saturday. And then again, the highlight on Monday. Thank you to Jason for getting all those videos out. And for Cam Smith and Roy Rank, this was the Mo WIFF 3 Up, 3 Down podcast. We're out.